Wonderful. Well, from where I am in the UK, it's a good afternoon, but for most of you, it's a good morning. It's such a pleasure to see so many wonderful, compassionate faces. The launch of the Muhammad Ali Index feels like a lifetime ago. So much has changed, and our work, and it feels cliche to say it, but it's so true that this work has never been more urgent and needed than ever before. So thank you for giving some of your time to be with us today. The purpose of the Ali Compassion Forum is to share with you the progress and the activities of the Muhammad Ali Index, to showcase and celebrate some of our most inspiring impact partners, and hopefully to motivate you all to follow their suit in your own inimitable ways, and really to encourage collaboration. There's an amazing network here, some incredible minds and hearts, and we'd love to foster some collaboration among you all. I'd like to turn to Devon, if I may, just to open us up, if you may, please.
Absolutely. I want to thank everyone for being here. Again, Simon mentioned that it does seem like it was a lifetime ago that we launched this index in New York City in January. And there's been just a lot happening around the world since then, much of which has confirmed to many people the very need for this work. And so while we couldn't have predicted the timing and the need that this work would require at this moment, we're here to provide it. And so I'm thankful that you guys are still involved, still engaged. You know, it's important now that we have launched that we are continuing to put in action these compassion agendas that we've discussed. We've been embracing that work here at the Muhammad Ali Center, trying to make sure that there's work on the ground here in Louisville, Kentucky, where we're headquartered, that speaks very specifically and very clearly to the advancement of this work. But our hope, as Simon said, is that you guys will continue to do this work in your respective places so that we continue to build momentum, we continue to build partnerships, we continue to secure the resources that are going to be necessary to scale this work in a larger way, not just throughout this year, but in the years to come. And so this is a great next step for us, being able to convene online and hear more about what's happening. I'm so thankful for the work that Simon and our team are continuing to do to keep this work alive. And we'll just ask that you all continue to share with us as you engage in work that's supportive of this compassion agenda that we've launched now. So thank you.
Thank you, Devon. And just to share with you that the intention is to have these forums on a quarterly basis, and culminating in the next Ali Compassion Summit, which please mark it on your calendars, January 16th, 2026, the eve of Muhammad, what would have been Muhammad's birthday. And before I go into some of the developments of the index, would like to share with you that the Ali index has been growing, and in a really beautiful way. And in terms of the team, we've been growing, and we're blessed to have Joy with us. And Joy has joined as the Muhammad Ali Index project coordinator. I wonder, Joy, if you might very briefly introduce yourself, please.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Simon. Good afternoon or good morning to everyone, depending on what side of the world you're on. My name is Joy McAtee, and I'm so excited to be part of the team. You all may have already received an email from me just as a reminder of today's meeting, but I'm very much looking forward to um, having some connection points and meeting all of you all, mostly virtual, I'm sure, just because of our location differences, but just to get together and to learn more about the work that you're doing in your respective places so that we can continue to advance this important work. As Devon said, this work is needed now more than ever, and I think you all would agree with that. And so there are many things to do, but I feel great about the spirit of collaboration that I've seen thus far with all the leadership at the Ali Center. And I have no doubt that we will continue to grow and move this thing along to do something that would have made Muhammad Ali proud. So thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you all, and you will be hearing from me soon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joy. And as the project manager for the Muhammad Ali Index, we really would love to learn more about your work and activities and to celebrate and amplify your work, and use the Muhammad Ali Centre's channels and platforms to celebrate your work, whether or not it's directly related to the Muhammad Ali Index or just your natural day-to-day compassionate activities. We want to hear more about them. So please do respond to Joy when she reaches out to you. We'd love to learn more about your work and activities, what events you've got coming up, and to amplify them. We've also been expanding with our advisory board. Some of our advisors are with us now, and I wonder whether you may briefly introduce yourselves. Could we start with you, Mayor Fisher? Many of you will be familiar with Mayor Fisher.
Hey, Simon. Again, good morning, everybody. I'm Greg Fisher. I was the three-term mayor of Louisville from 2011 to 2022. And we started our administration with compassion as one of our core values, along with lifelong learning and health. So we constantly centered our attention around compassion, which we defined as respecting all of our residents so that their full human potential was flourishing and shining like the sun, as Thomas Merton would say. So Louisville was named a 5-time International Model City of Compassion. The Dalai Lama was a partner of ours, of our efforts. So we've been in this work deep for a long time, and I continue to do so. And I'm writing about it right now and look forward to collaborating with everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mayor Fisher. Elliot, I believe you're with us. I can't see you, but I'm told you're with us. There you are, Elliot. Yes.
I'm here. Thank you. I'm Elliot Toomey. I run development at Planet Word, which is a museum in downtown Washington, D.C., dedicated to inspiring a love of words, language, and reading. And so naturally, how people are using their words to communicate in a dignified and respectful and empathetic, civil way is really important to us. And so I've really enjoyed being part of the team to help sort of elevate the work of the index and build this stronger sense of social cohesion.
Thanks so much, Elliot. Christopher Graves, please.
Hi there. Thanks so much to have me. I'm really honored to be among this group. I work combating the wicked problems that humanity faces and have done so for a while. Those include polarization, disinformation, vaccine hesitancy, decline in trust in medicine, science, and institutions. I was a head of 2 TV news networks and then subsequently the global CEO at Ogilvy, and then founded my own company called the Resonance Code, which has won 7 awards for a new way of decoding the human sense-making genome so that we can create better, empathetic, and more effective outreach with our fellow humans.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. And I believe we've got 2 of our new advisors with us. Prabha, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hello. Thank you, Simon. It's an honor to be here. My name is Prabha Shankar Narayan. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the CEO of Mediators Beyond Borders International, where we think, finally found a framework for what we have been talking about for the last decade. I just did a presentation in India introducing the Compassion Index, and they changed my byline from compassion in action to say, no, compassion is action. So I come away with that as my inspiration, and delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ravi, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ravi Sunak. I've been working in the social impact space for the last 20 plus years. I'm currently based out of New York, working with a global communications agency called Porter Novelli, which is steeped in social impact. I've been working in the nonprofit and corporate space, helping brands and organizations to tell their story, whether it's to do with child poverty, AI for social impact, economic empowerment. The list goes on, and I'm actually I'm absolutely honored to be part of this movement, this organization, and looking forward to meeting and working with you all.
Thank you. And we're honored to have all of you with us. And there are several more who can't join us today. And from behavior scientists to wordsmiths to conflict resolution to peace activists, you'll see that we've got a beautiful mixture of brilliant minds on there. And the advisory group is really alongside the Muhammad Ali Center board, really there to help steer the strategic direction of the Muhammad Ali Index. And if there's anyone else, together with, of course, you are our impact partners, and if there's anyone else that you feel would be great advisors, we'd love to speak with them. It would be remiss of me not to mention Ashley, and Ashley, to ask you to briefly introduce yourself, because Ashley has shortly following the launch joined the Muhammad Ali Index team, as well as, of course, the wider Muhammad Ali Center. So, Ashley, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here with you all today. My name is Ashley Parrott, and I'm the Vice President for Fund Development at the Muhammad Ali Center, 3 months into the role. It's been an incredible institution to come into and to step in at a time when this work is more critical than it could ever possibly be now. It feels all right. And so my role primarily is to work with the index team and our partners on identifying fundraising opportunities so that we can continue to build on this work and activate the work in our partner communities. And so if you all see opportunities, we love to collaborate with our partners on funding proposals. Let's make sure we're sharing those together so that we're moving in a collective direction on that, because collaborative proposals, typically lead to more dollars to do this critical work. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Ashley. And so just by way of a quick update in terms of the index, and then we'll pass to our first speaker. And I just want to honor the fact that Rob and Danny from Sparks and Honey, our amazing research partner, are with us today. So hi, Rob and Danny, and welcome. And in terms of what we've been working on is really the scaling of the research. We've been looking at scaling the research in a number of different ways. One is on that city level, to work with our partners to develop new programs inspired by the findings in the Compassion Report, to go deeper into the 12 different communities that were part of the inaugural study. We're also working with Sparks and Honey and other partners to look at what's scaling the index from a city-based focus to a national census-based model, what that looks like. So the pilot study had a 6,000 sample size. We're now looking at a 10,000 sample size, and including rural communities as well. And we're also, through Prabha and through others as well, just beginning to have early conversations with cities and communities around the world who have expressed an interest of tracking, predicting, and ultimately increasing compassion in their communities as well. Now, in order to scale anything, of course, we do need the resources, which is where Ashley has been keeping our feet to the flames brilliantly. And so we are having those very exciting discussions at the moment with a number of different organizations to really sustain the index, not just in 2025, but for several years ahead. But regardless of that funding, the work of compassion, the practice of compassion continues anyway. And that manifests through the Muhammad Ali Center programming. And just last month, to mark Black History Month, the Ali Center ran Compassion in Action, or maybe should be Compassion is Action, the Journey to Greatness, which was a fantastic program at the Ali Center, bringing in local compassionate heroes and to talk about the index. And then, of course, it continues through you, our impact partners as well. And so to that end, we really want to start turning this impact partner concept into a living reality for all of you. So we really understand what it means to translate the Muhammad Ali Index, this piece of research, into practical action. And one of our most active and supportive partners from the outset with the Muhammad Ali Index has been Hogan Lovells, a global law firm, and our partnership with Christopher Wolfe, who we'll hear from in a moment, has been fantastic. Now, for those of you who don't know Chris, please do look him up. He is a global expert in relation to online privacy and hate. He's a thoroughly lovely human being. And as part of the Impact Partnership, Hogan Lovells has conducted a white paper, among other things that we're also discussing. Chris, I wonder if I can hand the floor over to you, please.
Simon, thank you for that thoroughly lovely introduction. Much too generous. I'm so happy to be here on behalf of Hogan Lovells, and we're so proud to be your pro bono partner because we share so many values together, and our pro bono relationship with you means so much. It was our great pleasure to issue a white paper in connection on recent Supreme Court developments in content moderation online in connection with the Ali Compassion Summit in January. And from my perspective, as someone who's looked at online conduct since the beginning of the internet and the advent of social media, content moderation by platform operators like Google, Facebook, YouTube is essential to help mitigate the spread of harmful misinformation, hate speech, and other damaging content. In 2013, I co-authored a book with the then ADL, Anti-Defamation League National Director, Abe Foxman. It was entitled Viral Hate, Containing Its Spread on the Internet. And we concluded that online hate speech and misinformation diminishes the internet experience for everyone, and it causes real harm. We argued that when online platforms moderate content posted by their users and others, it can empower speech by removing abusive content that silences marginalized voices. By addressing online harassment and abuse, the platforms can create spaces where diverse perspectives can thrive. Unfortunately, the tide has turned since Abe Foxman and I wrote our book. Conservative attorney generals like those in Florida and Texas have brought challenges to the content moderation practices of Google, Facebook, and the like. The AGs and conservative groups believe that content moderation eliminates conservative speech and is biased. I don't believe the evidence bears out that claim. Florida and Texas passed laws that sought to limit content moderation, and those statutes that were enacted were challenged and eventually struck down in federal court as violations of the First Amendment. And the cases made their way to the Supreme Court. In Moody versus NetChoice, the Supreme Court addressed the application of the First Amendment to laws regulating the content moderation practices of online platforms. And the court recognized that these practices, such as filtering, prioritizing, and labeling content, are integral to how the platforms operate. We all know that as users of those platforms. The court also recognized that these decisions, including those made through algorithms, constitute expressive conduct and therefore were protected under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Here are 5 basic takeaways from the Supreme Court's decision. First, the court affirmed that content moderation is a form of protected speech. The editorial choices made by the platforms, whether to allow, remove, or promote content, are acts of expression. The court emphasized that government regulations compelling platforms to host or promote certain content may infringe upon First Amendment rights. And the decision affirmed that platforms' decisions about content, whether made by humans or algorithms, are protective expressive activities under the First Amendment. And this strengthens their ability to moderate content without undue government interference, potentially setting a higher bar for future regulations. Second, algorithm curation of content was also deemed expressive and thus protected. Platforms' use of algorithms to organize, rank, and manage content involves editorial discretion. However, the court left unanswered questions regarding algorithms that may simply respond to user behavior without reflecting independent content standards. This distinction may be the subject of future legal analysis. Third, we can anticipate continued legislative activities at the state level. The Supreme Court in NetChoice did not completely rule out laws regulating online platforms. It only ruled on the effect of the laws before it. As a result, policymakers on both sides of the aisle remain keen to regulate online platforms. Although the constitutionality of some of these laws may ultimately be challenged, the court ruling has not deterred legislative efforts. Fourth, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act continues to serve as a robust defense for online platforms engaged in content moderation, at least for now. While the court did not address this issue in its ruling, it remains a critical shield for platforms against liability for third-party content. Lastly, the court acknowledged that regulations might withstand scrutiny if they serve interests unrelated to speech suppression, such as consumer protection or public safety. This leaves room for further legal debate in areas like disclosure requirements, direct messaging services, and other platform functionalities. Subsequent to the Supreme Court's ruling in the NetChoice case, the Federal Trade Commission here in the US started an investigation in February of 2025, last month, to see if big tech platforms like social media and internet service providers have been unfairly punishing people for their speech, actions, or affiliations. They want to figure out whether these companies have broken any rules by censoring or banning users. In other words, they want to examine the effects of content moderation and from the wording of the inquiry, it seems that they potentially want to ban such activities. So this is another way that conservative groups are trying to go after content moderation. The public has been invited to share their experiences with platform moderation until about May 21st, 2025. And the FTC is especially interested in situations where platforms have denied access to services, how these actions impacted users, whether users had ways to challenge them, and the reasons behind the platform's decisions, and whether competition or the lack of it played a role. And by the end of February, by the way, over 1,000 comments already had been submitted. While the FTC didn't mention specific laws being violated, it's examining whether these moderation practices were unfair or deceptive, or even anti-competitive, which are the touchstones of FTC jurisdiction. And while the FTC specifically is seeking input for so-called victims of content moderation, labeled by the agency as censorship, organizations in support of content moderation, of course, have an opportunity to weigh in and submit comments on the validity of and need for content moderation. And I personally hope that happens. One last thing to note before I finish. Earlier this year, Facebook changed its content moderation rules in what most observers saw as an effort to please the Trump administration and conservatives generally. Facebook moved away from third-party fact-checking and stringent content policies. It now relies on users to report abuses, which harkens back to the early days of the internet and an era of whack-a-mole when it came to policing abusive and harassing content. The platform once served as a key player in combating misinformation through structured oversight and professional fact-checking partnerships. By shifting what they now call community note system, Facebook risks greater confusion and the spread of false and harmful information. So over the past year, the Supreme Court upheld the ability of platforms to engage in content moderation, but did not rule out the possibility of further laws and regulations regulating the content moderators. Accordingly, the FTC now is engaged in fact-finding to support regulations against content moderation that it calls censorship. And Facebook, once a leader in content moderation, essentially has abandoned the field. So with that background, I'm happy to take your questions and have a discussion on this topic.
Thanks so much, Chris. And I wonder, it's brilliant work. And if you haven't read the white paper, I do encourage you to do so. There's a link in the chat. Chris, just on a very human level, can you touch on why this subject of content moderation on social media is related to compassion and how we engage with each other and each other's suffering?
So I've been involved since the late 80s with the Anti-Defamation League, and we're focused on obviously the elimination of anti-Semitism, but also to promote justice and fair treatment for all. And the ADL has been studying through its Center on Technology and Society, which I helped to establish, has been examining the effects of hate speech on individuals. It basically eliminates civility and compassion online, and it discourages people from being compassionate online. We've shown that minority groups and affected groups, including women, by the way, it has a terribly misogynistic effect, are discouraged from engaging on the internet, which is a primary source of communication and entertainment these days. And so that's why I think the Ali Center should be particularly interested in the subject, and I know you are.
Thank you. I wonder if anyone here has any other reflections or questions for Chris, please.
I'll jump in with one, Simon. Thanks, Chris, for the good work. And Hogan Lovells is a great corporate citizen in Louisville as well. So thank you for
I know we are. That's great.
Yeah. Can you just discuss as generically as possible kind of the political ramifications that are in our country right now as it relates to these kind of online issues? And is there pressure one way or another, for content moderation? And I realize this is a big issue in America right now. So what can we as citizens do to kind of weigh in on this?
So the mid-90s content moderation has been cheered on, and most people thought it was a very important thing to do, as I said, to eliminate hate speech and to encourage all people to engage with these new technological tools. It's only in the last few years that some of the right-wing groups have concluded that there's been too much political content online. And therefore, they believe that conservative voices need to be amplified. Now, the fact is, conservative voices certainly have outlets online and are well heard. And so I think it's important for everyone to remind people how important content moderation is, and to explain that it is not censorship. Now, there may be cases of episodes of censorship that can be addressed, but it is not in general and on the main censorship, but it is an incredibly important tool for the platforms to use their resources to help all of us participate fairly online and not be the subject of attack, and not be discouraged from engaging with social media, for example.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Mayor Fisher. We've got time for one more question, if anyone has any questions, please.
Lonnie?
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, so much for that. Given your background, and I'm assuming you are a visionary as well, there's a lot of other people on this call. How do you see this playing out in the future? I mean, let's just say over the next 7 to 8 years, once we get past this current administration.
Well, I was encouraged. Thank you for the great question. I was encouraged by the Supreme Court ruling in the NetChoice case, although it didn't put a lid on the issue of content moderation. It certainly set the parameters and explained that the First Amendment is a strong protection. But I can see legislation affecting Section 230, which is used by the platforms for immunity from what people post online, as well as some of the state laws that I referenced in my remarks, recurring. And so certainly through this administration and perhaps into the next, I see a trend against content moderation. It would be a hard thing for Facebook to resurrect the very effective system that they had for content moderation. I'm hoping that Google keeps its system in place, including YouTube, which I heard this morning is the single most viewed video outlet in the United States today. And some of the other platforms, I'm hoping the platforms will continue to engage in this important content moderation, that people will speak up against regulations at the Federal Trade Commission. There's a big dispute right now over the composition of the Federal Trade Commission. It's supposed to have 2 members of the minority party, but the Trump administration fired them late last week. And so I think we all need to speak up and speak out in favor of content moderation and against unduly restrictive laws and regulations governing the platforms.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for lending your expertise and your firm's expertise on this very important area for the Muhammad Ali Centre, the Muhammad Ali Index, and really looking forward to continuing that collaboration. I know we're having many different conversations around the pro bono support, so it's very much appreciated. So I'd like to move now from what a kind of global corporation interpretation of the Muhammad Ali Index is, and how this sort of niche legal area, an important legal area, can be brought to life through the lens of compassion, to an individual, Robert Galinsky, and through Galinsky Coaching, an impact partner, has really been taking this Muhammad Ali Index on a community level, specifically with some very special individuals who we'll hear about in a moment. So Galinsky, I wonder whether you could share a little bit, please, about what you've been up to since the Muhammad Ali Index launch, where you were, of course, honored as one of our faces of compassion.
Thanks, Simon. I'm honored to be here and thrilled to be able to share some of my work with you. I work with primarily incarcerated teenagers, a population people kind of forget about. I work with people who are experiencing homelessness and those who are in recovery. The main organization that I team up with is called Literacy for Incarcerated Teens, which is a nonprofit run by a group of retired librarians. And I've learned over the past 10 years, librarians are some of the toughest people in the world. They're awesome. And so since January, I was talking to Annie Varghese at the event and said, let's go to work. I've been doing this for 10 years. I go into facilities and I work with poetry and writing. And she said, yeah, let's go to work. So one of the things I was super excited about is not just talk, but action. And so I've been weaving in since January the 6 core principles and the index. So I wanted to start though and show you a couple of videos, because it's really more about the people I serve than what I'm doing. And I wanted you to hear from them. So I want to start with what I think compassion looks like. And this is a video prior to my being introduced to the index. But I feel like now I have a vocabulary and I have some curriculum, and the layers of it are incredible. So they are gently and gracefully being placed into the curriculum that I had created. There was a lot of parallels already. So this is a team that I worked with at a place called Brentwood Girls Residential Center. For better or worse, prisons and jails have been called residential centers. They all seem to have pleasant names like Brentwood and Brookwood. These are 2 that I work in. Every time I work with students, I tell them, when you get out, get in touch with me if you want to. I'll help you if I can. So this young lady got out, didn't hear from her for 4 months. She reached out to me and said, I'm out. Let's meet. She had one poem that she had written and stuck with. And I said, let's see if we can get this into a TED Talk. We pitched it and we got it. And so this is Jenna-Rae Earp's TED Talk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna-Rae Earp. My poetry, my writing is who I am. Poetry lets me express myself in ways other than violence. Poetry lets me express myself in ways which I cannot explain in words. Poetry is like my therapist. I write poetry because when I get upset, I get angry and I lose it. And poetry helps me to stay calm. I found myself in juvenile detention for 18 months. And you might be thinking, oh wow, she was in juvenile detention and she's only 17. But I'm just here to tell you that it was not the most greatest experience, but I did learn from it. And I learned how to cope with my anger. I learned that writing poetry helps me to express my feelings in a calm manner other than violence. My motivation is my siblings. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. So I have to show them and guide them to not go down the path that I did. As the oldest, I'm supposed to guide and protect them throughout life. I also have a poem to share with you guys. The sun rises every morning, but not every day does it shine. I wake up and tell myself every day, today's a new day. But sometimes I get stuck in the rearview mirror. Only I can turn my day around, only I. No one else can turn my day around but me. So every day the sun will shine, but only if I choose to let it. Every day is only what I make it, the choice is mine.
So Jenna the night before that event, called me up and said, I can't do it tomorrow. And I thought she had nerves. And I said, what's going on? She said, I punched a hole in the wall in my bedroom because I got in a fight with my mother and I'm violent and I'm not worthy of doing this. And we spoke for a few minutes and I said, you made a mistake. You're not wrong. You just made a mistake. You still go forward. And after a few minutes, she self-compassion, she realized that, okay, I made a mistake, and she came in and she did the piece. She's phenomenal. I do a monthly poetry reading in New York every month, and she comes down every month. I contacted her mom. I said, I'll give you an Uber home if you can get yourself here. So every month she comes down and she does that one poem every month. She's the only regular who shows up, and everybody loves her when she walks in. She's amazing. So I want to share with you how this also applies to the people I worked with in Los Angeles, formerly homeless students at Housing Works in Los Angeles. And this is just this is them speaking about their experience with the workshops. And again, this is prior to me understanding the OLLI Index, but in my words, what I was doing with them. And now I have, again, like I say, I have a new vocabulary to bring to everybody. So this is what you see there.
I like it because it brings me out of my shell. It lets me open up because I'm a very shy person. I don't like to be with other people and stuff like that, and it brings me out of my shell.
The class has affected me to open up to people and not to be ashamed of what I'm saying to them.
It has helped me work on my anxiety issues with talking around groups and other people that I don't know. I'm usually a little standoffish with that, and it's helped me open up and come out and like kind of face my fear a little bit.
It was about working on life skills, working on how to work with other people. I had a big problem with eye contact, and it helped me a lot.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Edwards, Enrichment Services Coordinator at the beautiful Tig Terrace Apartments in Eagle Rock, California. Oh, I think they're getting a sense of community, a sense of friendship, building their self-esteem, and making them feel good and happy about themselves.
So I have one more video I want to share with you because now I've got the tools with the index, and I'm doing some workshops with adults in recovery in Newark, New Jersey at an incredible place called Integrity House. So you're going to see just again under a minute some clips of the people in the workshop, and they're going to be pieces of the poetry that they were written, and you'll see in the lower third what the OLLI prompt was. So we're using the 6 core principles as prompts and writing our work. They're writing their work through that.
The poem is called What Do You See? What do you see when you see me? Is it my style and flair? What do you see? Is it my clothes and diamonds all glare? No, it wasn't about the cars I drive. No, not the clothes I wear. You see, I use all those things to make you stop and stare. See, I was delusional, but today I can say the real me, loving, kind-hearted, and true.
At times I gaze into this mirror, wondering who's looking back. Shattered pieces of broken dreams and promises. Pain paints portraits of beauty as beauties built from his sorrows.
Staring out my bedroom window in the far distance, the sky is pitch black but decorated in shining stars. Seeing my mother suffer was almost worse than receiving the time, acknowledging the fact that I've hurt that woman 1,000 times. Is it too late to make mama proud? Because throughout my entire life, I've let that woman down.
That was good. Like,
thank you, bro.
Yeah.
So we're creating work out of the heart and soul of their lives, and then we have everybody commenting and rebuilding, and sometimes we will do live slams as well. And with the young ladies, it's really funny. We published a book 3 years ago through KDP on Amazon. And Lonnie, you'll get a kick out of this. The title of the book was Like a Butterfly. And it was not consciously related to Muhammad Ali, but that was the title of the book, Like a Butterfly. And I hope, Ashley, I sent you a couple last week. So I just want to do two more things. I want to show you, just this past weekend, I was in Atlanta working with, I do a solo theater piece that we are now turning into a film, and it's about experiencing homelessness. And so I did a workshop with the Rockdale Conyers in Atlanta Youth Detention Center. I was working with 3 judges down there. And I'm just going to show you very quickly a document here. We couldn't, of course, they're teenagers, so you can't show their faces. But the index in full effect at Conyers Rockdale Atlanta Youth Detention Center, these young kids are all serving time, and it was breathtakingly refreshing for all of us to smile and laugh and really dig into self-compassion, which is something that a lot of these kids don't have or don't even understand because they've been beaten down or born into such trauma. And the last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to finish up, is some poems from the Brentwood group of girls that I'm working with in Long Island right now. And if anybody wants to, we could do audience participation. There's only a few poems and they're very short. I'll bring it up on the screen. Does somebody want to read one of the poems? If you do, wave your hand and maybe we can unmute you. If not, I'll read them all, but somebody want to go for it? All right, Lonnie, great. Terrific. These are girls who are 14 to 17-year-old. This is the same facility you saw Jenna Ray, who did her TED Talk. This one was inspired by the prompt compassion, and this is a 17-year-old young girl.
I can relate to this first. I love fries, but I want butterflies. But I want to know how to fly. Understand why someone's upset, meaning understand what they go through, what they're going through. We have strength all together.
Thank you, Lonnie. Somebody want to do another one? Where'd it go? Oh, there they are. Oh, I went back. So this is another one. This prompt was compassion. I let them choose between compassion, spirituality, conviction, confidence, dedication, giving, and respect. If nobody else wants to do it, Lonnie, you're kind of on a roll. Maybe you can just be our poet today, our poet in residence.
All about me. Me. This is me. Sighting of Briella, lover of myself, who feels psychosis, who needs reassurance, who gives compassion. Who would we like to see, Japan?
Nice. There's 2 more. This one is self-compassion, 15-year-old. Let me just pull it back in.
I am mixed. I am Black. I'm a little bit of everything, but I am not enough. I'm not Black enough for the Black kids. I'm not white enough for the white kids. I don't fit in anywhere I go. If it is a school or a family event, everyone is looking at me like I don't belong, but I do belong. Yes, I'm white. Yes, I'm Black. Yes, I'm a little bit of everything. I am mixed.
All right, one more. Lonnie, you're amazing. Here we go.
I show compassion. I am stressed and blessed, but I press to not be a mess. How do you feel? I was not showing any sort of compassion. Now I show compassion. I was sad. I did not trust people. Care and care, caress. I feel blessed, not sharing. Now I show compassion.
So I'll just finish by saying that when they write these, thank you, Lonnie, that was beautiful. When they write these, it's all handwritten. And then the teachers scan them in and send them to me. And then I type them up, or my intern types them up. And then when they see them typed up, it's completely different experience, because now it feels like it's real. It's the font that changes. I don't know what it is, right? It feels professional. It feels acknowledged. So that's a glimpse into the work I'm doing and how utterly thrilled I am with the Compassion Index and the Muhammad Ali Index. I'm working right now in Atlanta. I'm working in June I'll be in Colorado. In May I'll be in Massachusetts. In July I'll be in Jacksonville. And a few of those are already programming partners. And so I'd love to connect with the partners and get this kind of work into all 12 regions at some point.
Thanks so much, Robert. Dr. Kimura, I see your hand up, please.
Yes, thank you. Let me lower my hand now that I'm on. Thank you, everybody. I want to commend you. You're my buddy from way back, Mr. Galinsky. He and I used to work at Rikers Island back in 2012 to 2015. I'm Kimura. I'm a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. And there's an interesting thing I learned that you already know, and that is that when you use abstract thinking like poetry, it's a really, really great way to open up people when they're been involved in trauma. So thank you, my buddy, for doing that great work.
It's been a long time. Thank you, Dr. Kimura. Simon, you're still muted.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kimura. Thank you, Galinsky. And how beautiful and moving and meaningful to hear those young people and others express themselves in that way. I hope that in this forum we've been hoping through this amazing work to move both your heads and your hearts, to get you thinking and to get you feeling. And really the purpose of these forums, the purpose of the Muhammad Ali Index is compassion in action. It is to translate this research, this amazing data, which we've never had before, and to turn it into practical ideas, programs. Now, Chris has used his expertise, his gifts, to really hone in on a specific area that he was interested in, that was in the public interest, and of course it's interesting in compassion. Galinsky has used his gifts around poetry and facilitation and Muhammad Ali's core principles to create these programs. I just wonder whether I can open it up now just to see, to hear from others, either about what you've already been doing in this area to translate the Muhammad Ali Index into action, or what ideas you have about what your organization might do or how we might collaborate together to bring this to life. So please do raise your hands, your yellow hands, so that we can see you. If anyone has any reflection.
I'll fill the moment just for a second. I just want to shout out Beatrice Bolden, who is another face of compassion in America, who I've worked with up in Harlem with the Impact Repertory Theater. And it's incredible to see you, Beatrice, and to be honored with you in January.
Thank you. And I was trying to raise my hand because Impact has been at work. So right now we are workshopping the actual index. If you don't know about Impact Repertory Theater, it is a youth activist and arts training program for young people between the ages of 10 and 18. So we create our own material, whether it's spoken word, music, dance, theater. And right now they are putting together a short show based on compassion. So right now we are workshopping our spoken word, and we're in the studio creating music that hopefully I'll be able to share with you guys that you of course can also use. And we're in partnership with another organization, TAG here, which is Teens Against Guns, aka Training a Generation, which is another product of New Heritage Theater Group. And they are doing interviews around our community where they're just stopping people or going to our other brother and sister organizations to find out how compassion is affecting our community around us. So once we put all of that together, I'll be so happy to share that with you guys. I'm excited. Impact is actually in our audition season. So we are bringing in new people to join. We are housed at the City College of New York at Aaron Davis Hall under President Dr. Boudreaux. And I'm excited for what's to come out of this project. If you have any questions, I'll put all my information in the chat, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys. Robert, you already know I love you.
Thank you. Well, we all love Robert and love you too, Beatrice. And I think that one of the things that I'd love for us to do as a team is to make it really, really easy for everyone to be able to see who are the impact partners, what's everyone doing, and what are our contact details. I think that's a really easy win for us, and we'd love to support that collaboration. Heather, please, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I work for a nonprofit called Connected Nation, and our mission is coming up with innovative solutions to help bridge the digital divide. And obviously, bridging the digital divide means making sure people have access to digital resources and the skills to use it meaningfully. And also it comes with a sense of responsibility towards making sure they are safe online and they know how to interact in a productive way. But I wanted to kind of, as we're talking about youth, one program that comes to mind for me is we have a program called Teens Teach Tech. And the Teens Teach Tech program really came out of the COVID era for us when kids had to learn from home. One of the big divides we found was that their parents were not able to get the kids to log on to Zoom for class. And so we realized there was a skills issue. And so we came up with a project, which was, guess who? The digital natives, who are the kids, can teach their own families and be the ones that are leading, teaching, and engaging in the community. But something that really we didn't really anticipate in doing that kind of work in empowering teenagers by giving them startup money to start their own community program and to train in their own community was the intergenerational engagement that came out of that. A lot of the kids started to realize how they could help elders in their places of worship. So go into their places of worship and helping them with digital skills, but also their families and other community members. And so what occurred to us in that was that intergenerational engagement and the value and the compassion that comes around a child realizing that they can go to the senior center and teach the seniors how to use computers. But the relationship and the compassion and the engagement that came out of that was that something that we did not think of in the beginning. And so because becoming an impact partner helped us to become more intentional about that we had something here that we are wanting to nurture with you all in this platform. So we're really excited to really sort of see what the kids are doing and how they've processed what this means for them to be, part of the, how do you help elders live longer, feel a sense of loved in their community. And so, like I said, I'm excited to be here and just listen and learn and absorb how we can be more intentional about driving compassion in those interactions. And the kids have trained almost 30,000 people across the country. So we're excited about it.
Thank you, Heather. We're thrilled to have Connected Nation as an impact partner. We've got time for one more if there's a opportunity for anyone who would like to share. Okay, so oh yes, please, Lauren.
I will make it quick, but my colleague Ava Mateo, who's on this Zoom, who's our Director of Communications and Impact, is with me too. I'm new to this incredible community. I am the Director of Programs and Partnerships at Riley's Way Foundation. I bet besides Aaron, most of you might not have heard of us before, and I hope to change that. We're a national nonprofit that invests in the next generation of kind leaders. Our flagship program is the Call for Kindness, and it's for ages 13 to 23 who have an idea to make their communities kinder or already have a nonprofit. And the ideas range from digital divide, racial injustice, and overall how to make their communities kinder and more just. And they're all youth-led. They're all led with empathy, kindness, and compassion, of course. I'll put a link to our website. Would love to talk to you more. This is a year-round fellowship, and we would love for the young people you work with in your communities to be part of Riley's Way.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Really appreciate that. Adam, please.
Hey, thanks. And I didn't, if you're running out of time, you can say no. But one of the things that we're really interested in doing, I run Reimagining Migration. My colleague Misha Lambella is here as well. And what we do is we do educational work to try to help communities navigate demographic change. And we've been working on creating a national belonging survey for schools. And so we're in early conversations about how might we adapt this survey in ways that incorporate the compassion measure, right? And either, trying to think about what is the role of compassion in building communities that are belonging. The other piece that I think is exciting is folks from the educational team from the Ali Center will be coming to a national seminar that we're running for educators this summer here in Boston. So hopefully this leads to a much deeper engagement. So thanks. I'm really excited about it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam, for your partnership. We're going to do a number of things. First of all, we're going to consider with joy, in every meaning of that word, so both joy the person and with the quality of joy, we're going to consider how we can share the activities of each of our impact partners, the contact details. If you're happy to do so, we will check in with you about sharing your contact details with each other. And then we're going to get in touch with you with next steps. One practical next step is June 19th, which will be the next Ali Compassion Forum. An invitation will come out to you. So please do put that in your diary. And again, I really hope that this both movement of the head and the heart has stirred something in you in whatever way is meaningful to you, and in your enlightened self-interest as well for your own organization, to take the Muhammad Ali Index and interpret it in your own inimitable way. We invite you to do so, and we'd love to amplify your work. We've got about 15 seconds left. So Lonnie, I wonder whether you could give us you've been our poet for the hour. I wonder if you could round us off, please, Lonnie.
You're asking me to conclude. I just want to thank everybody here. I don't know everybody on this. Am I muted? Can you hear me? Okay. I just want to thank everybody here for being a part of this. This work is so important, not just for the Ali Center, but for the world. And it's going to take, as Hillary once said, it's going to take a village. It's going to take each and every one of us every day showing up to do this kind of work. And it is work. And compassion is action. And it's something we need to do every day. But I have to tell you that I came across a happiness report for 2025 that I shared with Erin and Annie, the two Annies, and at the Ali Center. And it was amazing how happiness is linked to compassion. And a lot of their results, a lot of the things they found are the same things we found in our compassion report. So compassion equals happiness. And that's something we need to understand and help other people understand. But I just appreciate each and every one of you. We have loads of work in front of us, but it's what gives life meaning. Everybody needs purpose in this life to stay here. And I think we all have purpose.
Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to being in touch very soon.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Simon.
Bye,
Thank you, Simon.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.